Mission Impossible 2. The first one I forgot to mention was directed by Brian De Palma. This one is directed by... what's his name? Can't remember what who he is at the moment. I don't remember, but this movie came out 5 years after the first one, I think, or 4, I don't know, whatever. Tom Cruise said he wants every Mission Impossible movie to have a different director, so in this one they got a different director. I don't remember his name is again. But, yeah. In this Mission Impossible movie, it's a few years after the first one. Now Ethan Hunt is trying to track down this guy who's got this virus called Chimera. He's going to infect the world with it and then sell a cure for, like, at a premium price so he can get a lot of money and whatnot. Now Ethan's got to stop him, and he tracks down this girl who was, like, once had this relationship with him and hoping that she can be of use, and those two end up liking each other. And we have our movie, which is not as good as the first one. This is widely considered the worst. I have to agree. It's not a bad movie by any means, but it's not as good as the original or any other ones that I've seen so far. So, this movie still has some really good, performances from Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is great as Ethan Hunt, except this time his character is a little different. Ethan Hunt really isn't like he was in the first movie, or any other movie for that matter. He's like James Bond in this movie, where it's like he's this perfect action hero who can climb mountains, and then he makes out with like every girl he sees, and he and this girl, like I said, they end up forming a relationship, but like he meets her, and then later on he has to like argue with her and stuff, and then he just says, you know what, we like each other. It was really kind of a forced romance between the two, and it really doesn't make that much sense. And again, Ethan Hunt's, he's just got this weird thing where he's not as elaborate or planning as it was in like the first one. It's really hard to explain, but he's not the same in the first one. I'm not the biggest fan of this interpretation of him, where he's just like James Bond, pretty much. In fact, Mission Impossible 2 is pretty much like a James Bond movie. If this were a James Bond movie, it'd be great, but it's Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible and James Bond are not the same thing. Yeah, like, this one kind of removes a lot of the fun suspense scenes from the first one. There's maybe one scene or so, but in the movie that's kind of suspenseful, but really not real. It isn't that much. The rest of it is like gunplay and motorcycle chases and hand-to-hand combats, which is fun, don't get me wrong. Those are a lot of fun, those scenes. And some of those have like some ridiculous scenes where it's like they're sliding on the ground, firing guns and stuff. And it's really over the top and cheesy and pretty entertaining, even if it's not the best thing ever. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Ethan's best part of the movie, the girl, her name is Naya. She was alright, but not really that much of a standout character. I mean, she's only in this movie. I don't know what happened to her in the third one, but whatever. And Luther Stickle doesn't do anything in this movie. He's kind of just there, and he's like, yeah, go, you do that. Whatever, And there's some pretty good action scenes, as I said. They're good, but the problem is a lot of the rest of the movie is kind of boring. Like, there's not a whole lot leading up to the scenes that are that interesting, other than, again, the forced love story between Ethan and Naya, and a few other things which I don't care. I mean, I wasn't really bored. It was just not that interesting. To the point where it's just like, kind of just wait for the action scenes. And the action scenes are pretty awesome. Once again, it starts, I guess, Tom Cruise on a motorcycle stuff. Because, like, he's on the motorcycle chase, which is pretty awesome. And then the end scene is, like, this awesome hand-to-hand combat scene between Tom Cruise and the villain. And there's this one stunt which is insane. And it's basically like they did this thing where they rigged a knife to a machine and then drop it and stop the knife, like, until it was, like, a centimeter away from Tom Cruise's eye. Like, that scene, honestly, just, wow. And it's a real knife, too. They actually did that. I don't know. Tom Cruise that's a little too far. I mean, doing that thing with the Dubai Tower in the fourth one, that's something. But this is crazy. This is just, wow. But regardless, that was cool. So overall, Mission Impossible 2 is a good movie. It's not as good as the first one. It's not that great. But at the same time, it's fun to watch when, action scenes are going down and stuff. If it were a James Bond movie, like I said, it'd be great. Otherwise, not as good as the first one. But it can still be fun times. So Mission Impossible 2 is going to get a 70%. It's fun at times, but otherwise not the best because the characters aren't as good. Forced romance and lack of suspense made the first one good. All around a few problems, but you know, next time it'll be the third one, and the third one's better. So anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Adios, home slices. So I don't know how to make my exit, so I'm just gonna leave.